Hi home bakers! Today I'm in the kitchen making gingerbread cinnamon rolls.
Celebrate the decadence of the season with gingerbread cinnamon rolls. Soft, gooey, and bursting with festive flavors. This recipe combines the pillowy soft texture of traditional cinnamon rolls with the nostalgic flavor of old-fashioned gingerbread. Perfect for Christmas morning or any festive dessert.
These soft gingerbread cinnamon rolls are the perfect decadent holiday bake. The soft buns with the gooey spice filling and rich cream cheese icing. They're everything you want in a festive treat.
So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make gingerbread cinnamon rolls.
I'm going to start this recipe by making the cinnamon roll buns. In a large bowl, mix together 1 cup of warm milk, 2 tablespoons of fancy or light molasses, and a half cup of white sugar. Sprinkle on top 2 1/4 teaspoons of dry active yeast. I'm just going to set this aside for a few minutes for the yeast to soften and become foamy. Now I'm going to add in 2 eggs, 1/4 cup of softened butter, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 4 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Mix and then knead the dough for about 5 minutes if you're using a machine, or 8 minutes if you're kneading the dough by hand. Then I'm going to cover the dough and allow it to rise in a warm spot for 1 hour, or until it's doubled. Now that my dough has nicely puffed up, I'm going to tip it out onto a lightly floured countertop. Roll your dough out into a large rectangle. Now all we need to do is mix up the filling with all the gingerbread spices. In a bowl, mix together 1 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground clove, and 3/4 cup of melted butter. And to make this mixture extra soft and gooey, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of fancy or light molasses. Spread this spiced gingerbread filling evenly on top of the rectangle of dough. Now, starting at one of the short sides of the rectangle, roll the dough up into a log. You don't need to roll it too tightly, the dough is going to expand and rise before we bake it in the oven. And to help my rolls stick together, I'm going to spread a little line of melted butter just at the end. Roll the dough up and press to seal. And to form the cinnamon rolls, I'm going to slice this log into 12 equal pieces. To help me get evenly sliced rolls, I first like to split the log in half and then split each of those in half again. Then all you need to do is cut each section into thirds. And place all your little rolls into a greased rectangular pan, or a rectangular casserole dish like I'm using here. Now I'm going to cover the rolls up again and allow them to rise until almost doubled, which takes about 30 minutes to an hour depending on the temperature of your kitchen. Then my rolls are ready to bake in my preheated 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius oven for 30 to 35 minutes. Or until they're nicely puffed up and golden brown. If you want your rolls to be less browned on top, cover with a piece of tin foil after the first 12 to 15 minutes. And now for that silky smooth cream cheese icing. In a large bowl, I'm going to beat together 1/4 cup of softened butter with 1 8-ounce brick of softened cream cheese. Mix these two together until they're light and fluffy. Now I'm going to add in 3 cups of icing sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And to give my icing a little boost of Christmassy flavor, I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of orange extract. Mix this on low and then increase the speed and beat until it's thick and fluffy. You can either spread the icing on all of the cinnamon rolls at once or spread on each bun individually just before serving. And to make these cinnamon rolls extra festive, make sure to add some holiday decorations. This is the perfect festive warm dessert or easy Christmas morning breakfast recipe. These soft homemade gingerbread cinnamon rolls are guaranteed to become a new family favorite.
And as always, you can find a link to the full written recipe in the description box below.
Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.